So, what's this big audition you were talking about?
It's a huge opportunity. I'm auditioning for Wonder Man.
I'm Brad Winderbaum, head of television at Marvel Studios and the longtime mentee of Stephen Broussard.
I'm Stephen Broussard. I am co-head of feature films at Marvel Studios and was executive producer on a lot of projects with Trevor Slattery across the years here.
You invented Trevor Slattery, is that true?
I wouldn't say that I invented Trevor Slattery, but I was there at the beginning.
So here we have a clip from Iron Man 3, a movie that you produced. Is that right, Stephen?
True. This is Iron Man 3, directed by Shane Black. It was an introduction of the Mandarin in the MCU, which was a storied, albeit at times problematic villain in the comics. And the entire marketing campaign was about building him up as a villain before the rug pull in the movie.
The fact that we were able to keep that spoiler away from the public is incredible and something that's much harder to do this day and age. I remember being in a couple movie theaters, both at the premiere and then when I paid for a ticket with an actual audience, the reveal just killed both times.
What makes Trevor Slattery so special to you, Brad?
Well, I think he's so multidimensional. He's got an inherent tragedy to him. You can really feel the struggle that he's going through. And even when he's funny and humorous, you can feel that there's actually like a lot of pain in this guy, and which is what I think makes Wonder Man work so well.
Bloody hell, bloody hell.
Don't move.
I'm not moving. You want something? Take it. Although the guns are all fake because those wankers wouldn't trust me with the real ones.
What?
This moment was so funny. Because one of the things that's brilliant about this movie you made is that you really are playing with kind of the xenophobic tropes of the time when the comic book character was created and flipping it on its ear and leaning into the propaganda in a very clever way. So when the rug is pulled here, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of bet the farm on this twist, and there's a world where it does not work. And I remember being in the first test screening, and it's the first time we're showing the reveal to an audience, and I couldn't breathe. I was just holding my breath because I don't know what we would have done if the audience had rejected it. And you could hear a pin drop when all this was happening, but there's a certain type of silence in movies where you think it's a silence where you have them, and I could kind of tell that we did. And there was a lot to figure out in that movie in post, but we walked away from that screening know that it worked.
Your portrayal has angered some people. No, I mean, some of them are very dangerous.
You don't have to tell me, mate. I've seen those bloody internet message boards. Vicious.
This is a clip from All Hail the King, which was our first collab. This was our first creative collab.
Right.
It was this short film. And then years later, we would collab again on Wonder Man.
That's true.
But so they're both Trevor Slattery projects. This was a short film that was born out of you and Drew Pearce kind of hanging out on set, right?
Yeah, we got along great with co-writer Drew Pearce, and he came to us with an idea for a short film based on these one-shots that you launched the studio. And this was probably like our fourth, I believe.
Yeah. So.
We love him. We'd love to bring it back someday. It was the idea of twisting the twist yet again, because we loved it. And we were like, look, we want more Trevor. Let's give us another 15 minutes of Trevor Slattery. But it was a way to kind of stay in conversation with the comic origins of the Mandarin and the expectations people might have had when they went into Iron Man 3. This is cool. I haven't seen this in a long time.
I forgot about that bit where the gun comes out of the tape holder. That's freaking awesome.
Drew did a great job. We shot this in Alhambra, I think, at an old prison over 4 days.
Yeah, and I remember that was the first time I was ever on set with Sir Ben, and he's obviously an Academy Award-winning person, and has created all these amazing characters over the years with like such power and gravitas, and here he is just completely unleashed in a comedic setting, and it was so much fun to watch in real time.
Yeah, and I remember going back to the clip we just watched with the reveal, which starts with a literal toilet flush off camera, and then he walks in, which we thought was kind of our version of like a record scratch as we get into that part of the movie. We didn't know what the voice was going to sound like. Like he had kind of kept the Trevor persona very close to the vest. So we didn't see it until he walked out of that bathroom on the day, and we were all in stitches and couldn't believe the contrast that he had cooked up between the A part of the personality and the very zany B part of the personality.
Yeah, and Scoot McNairy is so good in this short too. What a great actor, like holding his own with Sir Ben and holding the power in that scene. It's so awesome. And we didn't realize at the time that we were going to be setting up Shang-Chi, where they took the Trevor Slattery character one chapter further and actually built out the Mandarin lore that was established kind of in that short film in many ways. Part of the magic of the MCU, where each idea can draft off of the ideas of other people in these amazing ways and blossom in unexpected directions. And this is certainly one of the best examples of that.
Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
To know my deed, to best done. Oh, hello, loves. What year is it?
You know, everything we do is in the grand tradition of the comics, and the comics is this living organism of story that just keeps growing and evolving into different areas. And to see that happen here with Win Wu stepping into more of a traditional quote-unquote Mandarin role from the comics, and to see that story land with incredible emotion in Destin's hands while living alongside all the nuttiness that Sir Ben brought to this role. This character, I think, kind of exemplifies one of the more exciting things that we get to do here at Marvel. Feature films and short films, and now going into a television series and following that through line with an actor like Sir Ben, who's just taken the ride with us, is unique, I think, in the history of Hollywood.
And you can really see that Sir Ben, he really understands the story he's telling in each particular project, and the character is growing every time he brings it to life in a different role. The Trevor Slattery in Shang-Chi is evolved from the Trevor Slattery in the short, who's slightly evolved from the Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3. And by the time we meet him here, he's stuck in a dungeon, but he's sobered up. He's still humorous, but he is less chaotic. He's more in control of himself. And that leads to where we find him in Wonder Man. And this is a particularly great episode. I think this is our third episode where he accompanies Simon to his mother's birthday party, and we get to meet Simon's family. And really, it's one of the true kind of empathetic moments for Trevor. Despite the conflict in the show, he really starts to see Simon as a human being.
Yeah, he's a good guy at the end of the day. Like, I think Trevor has made a lot of mistakes, but all these years later, we're watching him work through those. And I think in a way that doesn't ignore all the bad decisions he's made, but he's still got to get his way out of them in this. And I think in a way that's really complicated, and I hope people respond to in Wonder Man, because it's really emotionally honest and mature. And I thought Andrew Guest and Destin Cretton really kind of took these characters seriously, despite some of the crazier situations they find themselves in. I think there is a real raw honesty to everything they're going through in a way that is the reason the show works, because of those two and their connection.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to revisit all of Trevor's projects in a row leading into Wonder Man. I mean, I'm just watching Ben's performance in the scene, and it's unbelievable how the character has evolved. I mean, think about this guy at this party holding it together compared to how we met him in Iron Man 3, both the beginning and the rug pull moment. I mean, he's a different guy.
Yeah, it's fun to watch it all in a run like that and think about the evolution, how far it's come.
Thanks for listening. That's all for now. We hope y'all enjoy the show and watch it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Tell your friends.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you check out Wonder Man. Everyone that was involved with it is super proud of it. It's near and dear to our hearts. And check it out and tell a friend. Tell 10 friends if you like it.